Hey guys, Ford 360 here. Look what piece of junk I dragged home today. Or rather, yesterday. But nonetheless, dragged home. 5 horsepower Briggs. Want one for a while. Saw it out there. Had to have it. There's some issues with it, as in the recoil doesn't recoil. There is a ton of water in here because our breather tube cracked and then water went directly into the engine, but it does turn over. Our intake valve is stuck open. I can tell it is. Well, it won't be too difficult to pop the cylinder head off and get to that. There's some rust in the tank. Can't tell how much yet. I do know I'll probably have to rebuild the carburetor, which is no big deal. And I'll probably end up having to pull that pulley off, because I don't need that as well. But it does appear that it's not a something I can, not a tapped crankshaft. Meaning I can't put a bolt in there for like a regular clutch, but it does have these set screws on the sides, which some clutches do come with that, because I want to put this on my mini bike, which I might. So I might be able to figure that out. I might not, but first I got to cut this, unbolt the whole motor, and drain out all that water that's liquefying the oil. Must not have been in there for too long, thankfully. Alright, so I made a decision to leave it on here. However, this is what our spark plug looks like, and then here's my working theory so far. The valve didn't get stuck inside because of the water inside the combustion chamber. There's no water in here. That's why this looks clean. The problem lies, however, in the breather tube area. That is where, well, you can't see it from here. Well, I guess maybe. But anyways, there's a breather tube on here and a breather box, which is where our valves are. Problem is that the water got in there and seized them right where the springs are at. So we're just gonna pop the cylinder head off anyways, pop our exhaust and maybe not the exhaust, but the intake for sure, so we can take a look in here. See, and there's this stuff here too. It's not bad or stuff or anything. And feeling around in here, there's some icky and then some not. But yeah, it's an old engine for sure. Also, if you want to see how much water is in here, and like she's plumb full. Yeah, that's a milkshake and a half. Let me close it. Need some rags. Ugh. But yeah, we will pop our cylinder head off and be on our way. Well, do I have a surprise for you folks. Don't think our coil's gonna work. That's what the inside of that looks like. Yeah. We're just gonna yeet that. Yeah, doesn't feel bad. But of course, there's no compression because of that stuck intake valve. That's what I forgot to grab earlier, is WD-40. Shoot, I'll have to grab that from our garage, which is literally right over there. So lazy am I. Yeah, this cylinder head's gonna come off, and we're gonna give her a good inspection, see what work it's gonna need, and hopefully not much. Well, I can't say I've ever had this happen before. That is both the intake and exhaust fully hung open. They are not moving, and yes, there is a ton of WD-40 in there, and they won't budge. Well, I guess I haven't tried hitting them yet, but it's hilarious. They're both stuck open. The only way this could have happened is if one valve ended up getting stuck open when it was sitting, and then halfway through being sat, somebody would have pulled on it, opening up the other valve, and that would have got stuck as well. It's the only reasonable explanation, but yeah. Yeah, she's got some carbon in here, man. Cylinder head. It's got more. Yeah, that is very carboned up. I'll make myself a new head gasket, don't worry. But yeah, that's pretty bad. I guess this requires removing our exhaust and carburetor. Let's get that off and see what we can do, and drain the oil while we're at it, and oil water mix. Well, we got our intake off. I'm letting some of these bolts up here soak in some WD-40, and here's the first filter. Yeah, it just disintegrates. Yeah, that's not filtering anything. And our other filter has rust on it. Obviously it wasn't rusting, it was just stuck to it. Yeah, but yeah, that's no good. I'm probably ending up just gonna put a Honda carburetor on here and just bypass all of this in the governor, since it's going right onto a mini bike. If I can even get it to run. Who knows? I'll do all the tear down stuff today, and then keep going from there. Thing is mint-ish. I mean, surprisingly, all the controls move really well after I threw some WD-40 at them. Yeah. Alright. Keep plugging away. Well, guys, after messing with the valves, that's pretty good. Looks like there might be something stuck underneath the exhaust valve, maybe. Otherwise, she turns over. Which is, turns over, valves open and close as they should. I just gave it a quick spin over and it worked. Started working and coming back around. And now it works. So I won't have to take off that breather cover. And I'm not taking off the exhaust because I can't, because it won't come off and I don't have a torch. And this still has to come off, but I'm thinking if I have spark, I can drain the oil first, of course. No people forget that I do that, so I'm letting you know I'm gonna do it. And if I have spark, I can spray some carb cleaner in here just to hear it run, and then take off this and do whatever I want and make that work. It is an aluminum bore, unfortunately, but I can live with it. I'll probably even send it off to a machinist, for crying out loud, and get it bored out and fit a cylinder sleeve in it. Which is probably what I'll do. Yeah, you can see there is not really much play in it, necessarily. It was well taken care of. I'm sure it'll, as it heats up too, that'll largely go away, since it isn't that bad. If it was really bad, it won't go away. But since it's not bad, it'll largely just stop smoking and everything. Plus, there's a bunch of WD-40 in there. Yep, almost completely plumb full of water. Everything else was sludge.
Will it run?
Yeah, I think it'll run. I need a new coil, turning it over. No spark, but you know, it's anticipated that that's gonna not work. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a wrap for tonight. Getting dark, and yeah, pretty good progress. Alright guys, so what we're gonna do to get this 5 horsepower running is we're gonna take this 3 horsepower gas tank, cobble it onto there to the engine real quick, just to hear it run. And it turns out we do have spark. I checked it, it's good. We're gonna use our homemade gasket, tap it down. We're gonna do a leak down test to see what it's like. And we're going to also make sure that our governor just doesn't go screwy. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it really shouldn't take much to run. I know I did break off a bolt in there. I could just put a screw-in pipe in here. I don't know what I should do, if I'm being honest. But yeah, let's get to work. I gotta also fix my recoil. But otherwise, it'll run. Alright, so we hit a little bit of roadblock. I should check this first. This is where our valves, springs are. And that's all where the water is. All that stuff back in there, that isn't oil or just water. It's rusty crud stuff. You can see our valve spring is pretty grody too. So we're gonna remove our cylinder head again, and because it is just leaking all the cylinder pressure out of the intake valve. We're gonna take out that, and we might leave this in here, our exhaust valve, just to save time, because it doesn't appear that it's leaking out any air at all. But yeah, it ain't looking pretty in here. But yeah, I'll take my valve spring compressor, compress that, remove it after I remove that, and then we'll clean up our intake valve nice and good. Might just take out the exhaust valve as well while we're at it, and we'll have good valves. Alright guys, so we got our valves out. This looked really gross in here. Pretty good cleaned out now. Now we gotta lap in our valves. Now, the exhaust, the play that these have aren't bad. Let's see. Valves have not too terrible play, at least the intake valve. You know, there's some play. But the exhaust valve, that's a different story, unfortunately. Yeah, she's pretty worn out. I did notice that there is a valve guide in this one. Normally it's just the plain aluminum that it would ride against. So I mean, I guess it's a decent block. It is still an aluminum bore. Not sure if this side cover is a ball bearing block or not. I'm feeling the crankshaft end play. That's not too bad. But yeah, we got minimal piston slap. Yeah, I'm gonna just lap in these valves, put this motor back down on the ground, and we'll get some parts for it and throw it back together. Alright, so we just lapped our first valve, the intake valve. You want a nice consistent color, no breaks in it at all. You want to wipe up all your lapping compound. See it all wiped up and clean. And I'll probably clean out the rest of this port maybe, just to make sure it's clean. No one's sucking anything into the engine. Now we're going to do our exhaust valve. So basically, this is basically a before. This is an after. Nice good seal. And that was really our problem one anyways, was our intake valve, which was probably sticking down here a little bit up too much and causing it to blow out of there. But that does prove that we at least have some compression, so we're going to give this a shot. And the suction cup on here is really bad, but it still does the job pretty good, so let's get to it.